today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020, and I'm heading to pick up Julio, and we're going to check out what could potentially be our third client in the commercial cleaning business and our second largest, or maybe our largest client. The reason why I'm sharing that with you is because I want to talk about calculated risks again, and particularly because I was thinking about this last night. You know, I have a client. Her name is well, I won't say the name. Her first name is Kathy. Is it Kathy? No, her first name is Jamie Lynn, and her husband is the one who does all of the money making. Kind of like in our household, I do all of the money making. And the story goes that they have millions of dollars. They were one of my largest clients. They had $2 million in investments with me, another $4 million in checking and savings. And I remember the thing about them is that they're younger than I am. They're in their early to mid 30s, maybe even younger than that. Let's say early 30s. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, like, you know, what is it that they did that they have millions of dollars and I don't have millions of dollars in my bank account? And I didn't ask it to myself in a depressing way, like, oh, I suck. No, I'm very happy with my success, but more in a learning, like, what is it that they did? What could I do differently to get to that level? What the hell? And what I discovered, this stupid car. I love this car, but it just does some crazy shit all of a sudden. Anyway, what I discovered is that the way that he makes the majority of his money is by taking large risks. So part of it is knowing people, right? And part of that comes from just, you know, circles of influence. People tend to be around. So there's a saying in Ecuador that in Spanish goes, "Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres." In English, that translates into, "Tell me who you spend your time with, and I'll tell you who you are." And the same goes here with this couple, right? The guy hangs out with like-minded people who think big, who have money, right? And because of that, they share with each other their secrets, if you will, or their business ideas, you know? And that's how it is even with me. Just that my circle of friends aren't multimillionaires. They're, you know, in the $1 million range or slightly below that, but definitely top earners, top 2% of the country, top 1% of the world. Which, by the way, I'm in the top 2%. In either event, so that's number one. Who do you know? Who's your circle of influence? Number two is that he takes really, really big bets, really risky bets too. And an example of that, Jamie Lynn shared with me, was the recent bet that they were just making then. Basically, they took $4 million and they invested it into CBD poppy fields, right? If you don't know what CBD is a chemical part of marijuana, which today people are using it in a variety of ways in order to, you know, for health and whatever. And you could go to a coffee shop now and they'll sell you CBD oil, CBD water. So they invested $4 million in growing the CBD extract, right? And for them, the win would be $14 million. That's a lot of money. Their potential loss was $4 million, right? The $4 million that they put in. But they thought, actually, maybe they didn't invest $4 million. I think they invested $1 million or $2 million. And the most that they would make is $14 million, with their worst case scenario being making $4 million, you know? And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, like, wow, who wouldn't do that, right? You can make $14 million, worst case scenario, make $4 million. I'll do that any day. And I walked away from that thinking, like, okay, how do I get to that level? But at the same time, it felt weird. Something seemed suspicious. And fast forward now to the holidays, which just passed. And I might have already told you the story now that I think about it. Sorry if I did, but listen to me anyway, because there's a lesson here. Jamie Lynn contacted me 2 days before Christmas, and she wanted to know if her investment accounts were frozen because her bank accounts had been frozen. And the reason why they were frozen was because apparently that investment that they went into in CBD oil, instead of their worst case scenario being making $4 million, all of their accounts were frozen. She was only able to take $3,000 out from an ATM machine before her bank accounts were frozen, her investment accounts were frozen. So literally $6 million that they had in bank accounts and investment accounts with me were frozen overnight. They went from being multimillionaires to having $3,000 cash in their pocket right before the holidays. The reason why, apparently the guy that the husband got into this business deal with, according to Jamie Lynn, has some type of a history with marijuana, and because of that they associated him with it. That sounds fishy to me. But I found out later that the husband was arrested and released, and it's because they think that he's doing marijuana, not CBD. So I don't know what the truth is. I'll tell you this much though. It does seem to me odd that anyone would invest $1 million or $2 million into CBD and expect to get 14 million out of that. It makes more sense to me to conclude they were probably doing marijuana. He probably took $2 million or $1 million or whatever and gave it to some drug dealer, drug producer, who knows what, you know, to buy pounds of marijuana under the guise of CBD or something like that, and they got busted. The point is that now the lesson to be learned. I'm thinking about the business that I'm heading, or the appointment that I'm heading into now, which has risk associated with it. But it's a different kind of risk. It's educated risk. It's risky, but it's not $2 million or $4 million or some you know, exorbitant amount. It's a very small profit relative to the story I just told you, but it's still risky nonetheless. So I'm taking on potentially another big client. This client in the commercial cleaning business is going to be a public school. This client is going to require that I have 5 cleaners. Right now I only have 2 cleaners. Before, when I first heard of the idea, which was yesterday by the way, it was like, are you interested or not kind of a thing, and I had to make a decision and jump on it. So this tells you, number one, always be prepared to do your numbers, so that way if an opportunity presents itself, you're able to respond quickly. Because if you're not able to respond quickly, you're gonna miss out on the opportunity. So always be prepared. Know your numbers, know what's possible for you, have your formula set up, your mathematical formulas, so that way when it comes to calculating what your costs are, you know, paying employees, etc., you can, like this, do it and have that all formulated. Okay, number 2, there's the risk here, which was, okay, I have 2 cleaners, so I have to find 5 other cleaners, okay, to add to this, to my team, in order to do this job, which, you know, would net me close to $1,500 per month, assuming we move forward. Okay, and by the way, $1,500 a month, me doing nothing. All I do is set up the deal and that's it. I just, you know, I'm the brain behind it all, I'm the name behind it all, I'm the financer. So my efforts, my work, if you will, is to just finance these things. And, you know, like now I'll go and I'll check out the client because I want to go with Julio, who's my partner. I am the brains, no disrespect to him, but, you know, I'm the one who has to double check and make sure that the decisions we're making are wise. And by the way, that leads to another lesson: handhold your investments. Trust people, but verify. Find talented people who know the business, but also use your own common sense and your gut instinct to review business deals as well. Don't just blindly trust people. You have to double check and make sure that what they're doing makes sense. So I'm going now with him to check out this client. But leading to my other lesson, which was I didn't have cleaners. But I told, you know, the franchise, I was like, we'll take it. We're interested. Now, granted, you know, expressing interest isn't formal. Like, oh, that's it. You got to take the client now. No, we're interested. We're going to do the walkthrough. You know, we can provide the team, although at the time I didn't have the team. We're interested. And you know what? Hustled and found the team within a couple of hours, because that leads to another lesson. Always keep connections. So throughout the few months that I've been in this commercial cleaning business, I've been speaking to people. People have approached me, seeing if I had work opportunities for them, and I would save their names and phone numbers in case. Although in my mind I was like, nothing's ever going to pop up of significance. I was wrong. Something popped up. So always have people to reach out to. Number 4, keep good relationships with people. So there's this one person in particular. Her name is Kati. She is you know, your traditional challenge, and an emotional person, someone who has to be managed. And we saw her kind of as a risk because of her emotions. She's very, you have to know how to manage her. And you know, I thought of just cutting her off and not working with her, but I wanted to keep her in my pocket either way. And also keep good relations with her, because you never know, right? And I was right, because she's actually providing me with a team of people. So the point of the story is, don't disrespect people. Always keep good relations. You never know when you're going to need someone. And read this book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That is a huge, 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 huge influential influence in my life that, you know, I'm going to get you guys to read and listen to again and again and again, because it will determine your success in life. Period. End of story. There's nothing more that will determine your success in life other than God and your relationship with God than this book. Okay? So you must read it, not once, not twice, but throughout your life multiple times. Study it and implement it. But in conclusion, I'm taking a risk right now with this client. I'm not even sure yet how I'm going to finance it. I have ideas as to how I'm going to finance it, and they're smart ideas. I know that it'll come through, so it's not like I'm just hoping and crossing my fingers. No, I have ideas in the pocket. But the point is that I'm taking a risk right now, and the risk is $48,000 that I will be financing through the franchise, of which I have to come out of pocket about $10,000 deposit. The risk is that I take on this client and that the client doesn't pay enough, and that now I'm stuck paying employees and committed to this client for a year plus the $48,000 debt for the client. However, taking the calculated risk, I'm going now to check out the facility. If the facility is everything that I believe it is, and I'm going to interview my cleaners tonight. If everything is as I believe it is, I will take the risk. And if everything works out the way that I plan it to, and it looks like it will, I'll be making about $1,500 a month doing nothing, because I have someone who manages the team, manages the business. So yeah. So is it $4 million? Is it $14 million? No. But I'm not going to jail. I'm not getting my assets frozen. And I'm going to get $1,500 a month on top of the $1,500 a month I'm already getting for doing nothing. Because once I set this up, I don't do anything else. I just deal with problems if they present themselves, which is rare. And that's it. Calculated risks, smart risks, safe risks. Not marijuana, but, you know, smart risks. Hopefully this will help you guys learn. Love you guys. Okay, walking here with Don Julio. Gonna check out that client. Hey, good morning, kids. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. And I'm recording to give you an update on yesterday's walkthrough of that potential client, which was the school, and yet another lesson to learn. Today's lesson is knowing when to walk away from a deal. So, everything, as you recall from the last video that I recorded, seemed like a very good deal. $1,500 a month for me doing nothing, because again, I'm the brain behind the thing, and I finance the deals and But one of the things I also spoke to you about yesterday was the importance of managing risk, taking calculated risks. And another lesson that I'm going to share with you today is the importance of surrounding yourself with experts. What do I mean by that? You know, I'm a pretty smart guy, yes, and you probably think I'm pretty smart, I assume, right? But even if I'm smart, I don't know everything. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to think one thing about a potential deal when in reality it's a complete other thing. With that said, let me just order my Starbucks. All right. With that said, just checking traffic, sorry. With that said, my bad. Okay, back to the point that I was making. With that said, I don't know everything. And because of that, it's important that you surround yourself with experts, people who know the business that you're entering into, and that will help you make wise decisions. The client that we looked at yesterday was a charter school, very big school, 4 floors, 630 students, 70 faculty members. Initially, they were asking for 6 people to do the cleaning, and it was our assessment that 6 people would not be enough. And instead of giving us $13,000 a month, we want $20,000 a month, because the excess dollar amount is needed in order to pay for more man hours, which is going to be required in order to effectively clean that school. Now, if it were up to me, I would have moved forward with the deal. But again, that's where the rule of working with subject matter experts comes into mind. Julio, my partner, who you saw in the video yesterday, said to me, don't do it. And he explained to me why. Even though you work with subject matter experts, also ask them why, because you need to learn why. But also you need to confirm, trust but verify. And he explained to me the time that it would take to do X, Y, Z, and that it just was not a feasible deal. And I agree with his expertise. And as a result, I turned down the deal. There's more lessons to learn, but I want to pick up my coffee, and more importantly, I want to clean my window shield because it is distracting the shit out of me. You see that little spot right there? I can't. It just drives me nuts. As I wait for my meal, the other thing too that I did was I met with a girl called Kati, who is another subject matter expert, and I ran the scenario by her to confirm my first subject matter expert's opinion, and she agreed. Ultimately, I did the math too, because my investment into this deal would be $48,000, and when you do the math, I would make about $1,800 a month from this, right? Divide 48,000 by 1,800, that's 2 years, close to 3 years for me to recuperate my original investment. And it's risky because if, you know, let's say staff doesn't come in and I lose the client, then I lose the, you know, the deal, and you know, I would not recuperate that investment. All right, I want to finish my talking points before I get to work and drink my coffee. So confirm with multiple subject matter experts. Another thing that occurred to me too, before I tell you the new direction I'm taking the business, is again to emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. There's a girl I'm going to be helping possibly establish her own commercial cleaning business. I'm going to invest into her and her family because she's a hard worker. She has experience in the commercial cleaning business. Her son, her 2-year-old son, has cancer, and that breaks my heart. And she's someone who would be a successful business person if she just had the right direction and resources. And as I was, you know, I already hired her for something, and I'm going to tell you about it in a second. But as I was visualizing the conversation I'm going to have with her later today and training her on how to make phone calls and sales, you know, and I thought about me explaining to her how my ultimate goal for her is for her to establish her own commercial cleaning business, of course with me having a percentage of ownership. And you know, I visualized her asking, why am I doing this? And my answer is because there's only one difference between this Spanish kid from South Bronx and another Latino from the South Bronx. And the difference is that I was surrounded by Latino people who wanted to make money, who wanted to go after the gusto. One could argue that it was school because I met them in school, right? It's while I was in college that I met these people. But again, the main concept being it's who I surrounded myself with. You know, I am who I am today for many reasons, and a large reason for that is because of certain men that influenced me throughout my life, like Jason Olivo, who you probably remember him and his kids. It's because of Jason that I'm on Wall Street. You know, when I was suspended from Syracuse and was delivering pizza for 2 years and decided to come back to New York City because, you know, I wanted to start some type of a career, even if at the time I didn't have a college degree. You know, I asked Jason, you make a lot of money, what is it that you do? And he brought me to his office and introduced me to Wall Street. My desire to make money, my desire to be financially strong, all came from being surrounded by men, Latino men, who were financially strong. My bar was raised because of that. So again, the importance of who you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with weed heads, people who all they do is skateboard and hang out and they don't have any ambition or goals in life, then that's what you're going to become. You're going to become a weed head. You're going to become someone who has no ambition and goals in life. You're going to become exactly who you surround yourself with. But if you surround yourself with like-minded people who want to, you know, be financially strong, who want to be financially independent, who care about school, who want to go to, you know, an Ivy League, who want to uplift other people, then you will become that person. They will feed you ideas. You will bounce your ideas off of them. So again, the importance of who you surround yourself with. Now, the business. Where I'm transitioning the business to now is this experience with the public school, although I decided not to take on the client, was a lesson. It wasn't a win, but it wasn't a loss, because there is no losses. You only win or you learn. And what I learned from this experience was, ask yourself the question, there's a cop behind there. Ask yourself the question, what is the one thing that is holding me back from taking this deal? The answer to the question is a $48,000 investment. I can do the investment, but is it worth risking $48,000? Because it would take me, again, 2 to 3 years to recuperate that money. And in 2 to 3 years, a lot can happen. So now the next question comes about. What if that $48,000 investment weren't needed? And hence, the new direction that I'm taking, Neda Elite Commercial Cleaning. Apparently, so this $48,000 investment, the reason why that amount exists is because my company is established as a franchise through another company called Coverall. And Coverall, what they do is several things. They provide the support services, the billing, the training for establishing your business, and they also provide marketing. So they find customers for you. However, the price of them finding customers for you depends on the size of the customer. In the case of the public school, $48,000. So, what I found out through this experience is that had I found the public school on my own and brought it to Coverall and they closed the deal, you know how much I would have to invest? Take a guess. You got it. 0. So that makes a lot more sense. Faster profit, less risk. Almost the elimination of risk if you think about it. So what I decided to do is, instead of investing $48,000 into that, from the crew that I interviewed last night, I met this young woman who I'm telling you about. What's her name? Paola. She's married with kids, and again, one of her children has cancer at the age of 2. And she is trying to become a U.S. citizen, I assume through her husband, who I imagine is a U.S. citizen. And, you know, they're going through a tough time. But what stood out for me, aside from the fact that she could speak English, is her willingness to work, her willingness to do what it takes to make it. Now, that reminds me of another lesson. Sometimes the best people that you could add to your team aren't exactly always the smartest people, but sometimes it's the people who are hungry and want to work, and want to make money, and want to do what it takes, sometimes to survive, other times to grow to a certain dream that they might have, right? That's an important characteristic that you want to find in people, and that you yourself have to have, by the way. That is something that she has. So what I'm doing is I decided to hire her, and I'm paying her $10 an hour as a base salary for her to make phone calls from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's 3 hours a day, Monday to Friday, to businesses that she's going to locate in neighborhoods that I'll tell her to call. And for every for every free estimate that she schedules for myself and the Curveball folks to meet with, I'm going to give her $100. And from those interviews, for every one that results in a signed contract, meaning a client that I take on, I'm going to give her $1,000. So now I go from a $48,000 investment to a $1,000 investment into someone who will do the legwork for me of making these phone calls and finding people who are interested in commercial cleaning services so that I could grow my business. Man, I'm good. But this comes with time and experience and making mistakes. And in your case, listening to YouTube videos of your father, who cares enough to record his thoughts and lessons just in case he dies. Love you guys. Mercedes-Benz sent us a lot of little tchotchkes. Ooh, this is leather. And this box here for the Mercedes. Oh, shut up. And the car's in her name, but I'm the one who pays $1,000 a month for it. We got a flashlight. We got an umbrella. That's the Mercedes-Benz. Cool, huh?
I forgot it. I don't know.
You forgot it?
Uh-huh.
Well, show me A minor that I just showed you.
Okie dokie. It's the second one. The second one. The third one.
Want to pick? Oh, sorry.
So it's up here, right? For the second one, right? Right.
Don't know, kid. Give it a try.
I don't want to pick.
Okay.
And then, it's like, I don't know. I just know the.
Alright, now my turn.
That hurts.
Hold this.
Got you, bro.
I might have to sit over here though.
Making me move.
See if I can lift this up. This is I Surrender. Find me, Lord, as you call me. Yeah, I'm desperate for you. Desperate for. I always struggle with F. I surrender. I surrender. I want to. No, it's not that one. Here's where I think it changes, but that's what I got so far.
Why can't I do that? I don't know what I'm
I've
doing.
been practicing for a long time, kid. You gotta practice. Practice.
It's like up, wait, no, up, wait, no, up.
I'll get you a kid guitar. Alright, today is Saturday, January 11th, 2020, and we're heading to the Harvard-Yale game, hockey, where we're gonna beat the shit crap out of Yale, right? Madison Square Garden, we're waiting for the game, for the train. Alright, we're going on the Trizane. Let's go over here. It's only one stop, so let's go over here. Follow me, boy. Right here. My little secret is I stand right here. Over here, actually, because this is where the door opens. I like standing here because this way
It's like 5 minutes.
yeah, and no point in sitting down and the door opens and just things. We're walking into Madison Square Garden. Smells like piss. I almost tripped. Yeah. 107. Man, I wish I could have bought my GoPro, but unfortunately they wouldn't let us bring it in, which really sucks. Ooh, alcohol, nice. All right, let's go. We're row 13, so let's. It should be down here.
Two more down.
Alright, we just came out of the Harvard-Yale game where Harvard beat Yale 4-0. Over there in that building is where I passed my Series 65 exam, one of the licenses that I have for my investment business on Wall Street. That's the Empire State Building. That's my boy Michael. What you gotta say, boy? It's nice and warm outside, 65 degrees.
My allergies are reacting.
Your allergies? Alright. This McDonald's right here on the corner of 6th Avenue and where are you going, Mike? 28th Street. Right here. Oh, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, there goes your Snapple. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. At least I got it on camera. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What a nice father. At least I got it on camera.
My ear might be bleeding, but I'm fine.
You okay?
Yeah.
This McDonald's right here is the place where I stopped serving homeless people. And the reason why is because I came with a group to serve homeless. And the, let me turn the camera. You sure you're okay?
My knee's bleeding. I don't think it is. Just...
Alright, we'll turn right on the corner. Let me turn this. So the story goes, the story goes that I was serving homeless people there, and I go up to this one homeless guy and I try to speak to him. You know, like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? He's like, why do you want to know my name? He started yelling at me. He wanted to legitimately fight me. So, and he waited for me outside. Like, I went inside of the McDonald's. It was a very bad experience. And then while I was in that McDonald's, there was another homeless guy that I was sitting next to who was super high on drugs. And you could tell that he was very nervous and antsy around me. Let's go this way. Because he was like looking at me like all paranoid. And I realized at that moment a couple of things, that those particular homeless people, not every single homeless person, but those particular homeless people were dangerous. Let's check this out. Look at that place. Hold on. Were dangerous. So serving homeless people in the streets is dangerous. But then I remember there's a third homeless person I served that night who was so ungrateful. He was like complaining about what we bought him. It was really... So that's when I decided, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna... Hold on, Mike. I don't think I'm gonna, serve homeless people anymore. At least not in that capacity. Let's check out this place. This looks cool, man. 6th Avenue Apartments. Wow.
Yeah, I think they might be out of business.
Why?
The boxes. This is
Cool.
nice.
Yeah. Let's start heading to back to MSG. To add to the excitement, we watched some guy who's drugged up crashing against the walls and then eventually crash into the...
You already stopped.
Yeah, that's it. I just stand there.
Can you rewind that?
You already stopped.
Let me just...
Oh yeah, he was crashing into everything.
Yeah, let me just see the clip. Show it to the cops.
Just try to something on the floor right now. I guess.
He's drugged up. You're a taxi? Oh, you're an Uber.
If you make a stop for the 2 hours, you swim for the.
Step back, puppy.
Alright, let me help you out. Come on. Help you out. Look the way he's laying his phone to the bedroom.
He is definitely
Drugged. He's high as mouth.
Yeah.
probably just some
Hey.
drug that's gonna get him arrested. This is so He woke up. He's probably drugged, not drunk. So, yeah, cops talking to him right now. He probably overdosed on drugs.
It's getting up. I'm back. Got the ambulance coming. Nah. Yeah, they got it. So young, man. So sad.
These videos take forever.
Crazy.
Just gonna check you out.
Do you need something from me or?
He's definitely high.
Uh-oh. Don't resist. Don't resist. Wait. Mikey, stay here. Stay close to me. Stay there, Maggie. Welcome to New York City, Papa. That's why you don't do drugs. That's what drugs do.
He's probably going under arrest right now.
He already is under arrest.
They got the ambulance.
Exciting night, huh?
Yeah, this is like crazy.
That dude's high on drugs. He was crashing into a wall. You saw him? Yeah.
He tried to end up, he got hit by a car.
Oh, yeah?
He's high.
He looks passed out, like he just passed out a second time.
What you doing? Let's play your song.
Alright, welcome to my YouTube channel. Let me give you some background information. So basically, I was gonna sing the song like on my birthday because it's called Age 12 because nothing wrong with age 11.
Because nothing messes with age 11.
Yeah, because like it just doesn't rhyme.
How old are you now?
Age 11.
Age 11.
But I mean, technically my birthday did pass.
No, it didn't. That's cool. Let me put it on the other camera. Hold on.
Because some of the parts,
Because what?
it's not the best because like some of the parts I just didn't know what to put, so.
It's alright. Make it
You're
happen.
recording?
Yeah, I am. Come on. Don't be. Just do it.
Take my cream. Sorry. Alright, ready?
Come on.
Okay. Okay, bro. Age 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends with the recipe. Can I just sing it? I really can't.
No, do it with the guitar thing. Come on,
I
Bella.
don't know what I'm doing.
Just figure it out. Just alright. Don't worry. Go ahead. Come on.
Age 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends with the rest behind. It's okay that people change. Stressed out, but it's always fine. Maybe asking, but I can't describe. Maybe the right and the love we face with age. I hate that you've been saying I'm dramatic. True, because I just don't wanna talk. You ever think that you might be overreacting? 'Cause I promise that I'm thinking and overthinking quite a lot. They say we're crazy and useless, making stupid excuses to go make bad decisions when we're hurt. And we're not crazy romantics, but we know what a heart is, and know that when it's cracked, it really burns.
Wow, that's actually pretty good. That's better than I am. That actually sounded really good. Like, the words made sense. And
Can I sing it again?
yeah, go ahead.
Without the guitar?
Without the guitar.
Because it's easier for me. Okay,
Sure.
ready?
Yeah, go.
Age 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends, left the rest behind. And then, I don't know, I didn't know what to put, so I just skipped the whole chunk. And it's okay that, alright, wait. Age 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends, left the rest behind. It's okay that people change. Stressed out, but it's always fine. Baby, asking, but I can't describe. Maybe the right or the law we fix with age. I hate that you've been saying I'm dramatic, immature because I just don't wanna talk. You ever think that you might be overreacting? 'Cause I promise that I'm thinking and overthinking quite a lot. They say we're crazy and useless, making stupid excuses to go make bad decisions when we're hurt. And we're not crazy romantics, but we know what a heart is, and know that when it's cracked, it really burns.
That's really good. Well, Michael was your backup singer?
I was playing with Hedgehog in the bathroom, smacking him up, and I got 12 smacks up, and then it landed. So we come to this 24.
Bro, why are you naked?
My song wasn't really a song. It was just
Oh, come on, let's sing.
Let me do my background information. So my song.
Get dressed meanwhile. Get some clothes on, kid. Your song wasn't really a song?
My song wasn't actually a song. It was just like something I was gonna read on my birthday because I was turning 12. And so then I was like, wait, we're getting into music, so what if I just read it, but in music. Does that make sense? No.
It does, and it was pretty good.
I couldn't figure out like a own beat, so I just copied it from a different song, but I just changed the words.
The beat? What do you mean?
Like the ukulele.
Cool.
And then Michael heard me and he was like, yo, can I write a song? And I was like, okie dokie, artichoke. But we couldn't find anything.
I like it. Sounds good.
Don't post it. I don't want people to know my hidden talent.
Nah, I'm not gonna post it.
I'm waiting for a talent show, bro.
I
No, for real, watch.
hear you. You gotta take singing lessons.
Just like Beethoven, bro. Beethoven.
I'm ready for you. Go ahead. Shoot.
Michael, you want to sing it? We can sing it together.
Crap.
Chapter 3 words. Page 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends. You want me to sing it?
Yeah, we're
And then you sing after me?
Yeah.
Okay. Age 12, got a lot on my mind, got a few friends, left the rest behind. It's okay that people change. Stressed out, but it's always fine, baby. Asking, but I can't describe, maybe. The ride it'll all be fixed with age. I hate that you've been saying I'm dramatic. Immature because I just don't wanna talk. You ever think that you might be overreacting? Cause I promise that I'm thinking and overthinking quite a lot. They say we're crazy and useless, making stupid excuses to go make bad decisions when we're hurt. And we're not crazy romantics, but we know what our heart is, and know that when it's cracked it really burns.
It really burns?
Mm-hmm.
Come over here. Where are you? Is that the Mercedes-Benz flashlight?
Yeah.
You look amazing.
Me and the boys going to war.
Where's my chapstick?
Put on the shoulder.
What did you say in case we're going to war?
Me and the boys are going to war.
Oh.